Okay. What the email address that you would like me to send this to?
It's Washington
Mm-hmm.
.field
Mm-hmm.
at IC
Mm-hmm.
.fbi.gov.
SBI.gov. Okay.
Yep.
So
And
really
then
quickly.
just put it for Special Agent Estrella.
Okay. So really quickly, while I have you on the line, let me describe what I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you two different pieces of video. I'm going to send you my original clip that I myself took in Washington, D.C. on January the 6th. Let me give you a little bit of background on that. I am a journalist, professional journalist, independent media. I was in Washington, D.C. that day because I had been documenting a family. Long story short, their son went missing here from a military base in Fort Bliss. And I had been documenting their journey, trying to, get answers for some time here in El Paso. When they informed me that they would be in Washington, D.C. on that date, I went to go meet with them. They were in Washington, D.C. on that date because they were trying to get national media coverage for their son's disappearance. I got somebody told me, hey, there's stuff going on at the Capitol. You should probably go. So I went over there. And I was not with the family at all, but I was documenting as a journalist. I subsequently posted various articles about things that were going on. While I was in Washington, D.C., I actually stayed a few different days in order that I might be able to give over this documentation in person. I went to FBI field offices, was denied being able to be there. I went to Capitol Police. Capitol Police actually laughed at me when I tried to explain to them what I was giving to them. I made every possible effort to give this documentation to national media organizations such as CNN, NBC, and I have, I don't know if I still have them, but on Instagram Live, many people watch me do this.
Okay.
And the reason I'm
what's your Instagram?
Mine is KING.
KING.
Period.
Okay.
LOUIX.
LOUIX. Okay.
Yes, sir. I was unsuccessful at any of those turns in trying to give people that information, but I did feel it was very, very important, given the fact that that very next day you had members of Congress calling people domestic terrorists and things like that. So again, I just wanted to make clear why I was there, and things that I can get you copies of articles. Right now, the website that I was using for publishing is down, but I will make sure that I get you copies as well.
Just put it with that same email with the video. I mean, obviously you were successful because I'm calling you. So we just want to review it, see if we can identify people, and then go from there.
I'll tell you the second thing that I'm going to the second piece of information that I'm going to provide with you. It's a video. I made a call to the iron workers several months later. Doing as an investigative journalist, I was doing follow up. It always was weird to me that Iron Workers 6 were there. Are you familiar with this 10 foot by 20 foot Trump? 10 foot by 20 foot. It's
only from what I've read on your little 10 foot by 20 foot enclosure that was with a banner that was being held by only 25 people.
Mm-hmm. So so here's the thing about that, and you'll see this on the video I'm going to provide. So this is what I thought all along. It was very weird that there was going to be iron workers there, just in general, because unions don't generally support Republican candidates. That piece of this structure that was built. Here's what I know, and I'll tell you. I was there. I was in full alert. There is absolutely no way that thing was wheeled through the large crowd. There was absolutely no way that the only possibility in my mind that exists is that was built on site. Okay. It is my assertion that the reason why all of these people had ironworker stickers on their helmets is so that they could be clearly identified by whoever would have stopped them from building that thing. There was no way that was brought onto that premises fully built. That had to have been built there. So when I called Ironworker 6, I asked them, like, hey, you know what? I need this thing built. And I gave them a rough description of the thing that you will see that was used to attack Capitol Police. I said to them, there's absolutely I asked them, could you build this in like maybe say 30, 40 minutes or something like that? I expect that this is going to be something that very highly trained individuals are going to build. And he said, yes, this is absolutely the type of thing that we could build. So that's when I asked the guy, I'm like, so did your Iron Workers 6 union help build this? And he said, no, they didn't. And I said, well, you know what? There's a bunch of stickers of your people that were there. And the guy said, those were not my guys. And I was like, oh, well, how do you know? And he said, well, I've already been contacted by the FBI about this. And I was like, interesting. And he's like, listen, there was iron workers from all over the state of New York and all over the country that had our stickers. So this is really important. During that same phone call, the gentleman also let me know none of his workers or any of them were Trump affiliated people. None of them support President Trump in any way, shape, or form. So
what's your theory?
My theory is that these were anti-Trump forces that were there to make people look bad. That was probably, I'm going to say this. This was probably, out of all of the violence that happened that day, it was about 10 different people that had to pick up this structure, and they went and started assaulting Capitol Police with it. That was probably the most organized instance of violence that at least is caught on camera. I can't tell you of everything that happened there, but I will say this. That thing being there, that's pointing to coordination. The fact that there was ironworker stickers from people wearing ironworker stickers from all over the country, somebody had to have distributed those to those people. Somebody, and the fact that there were ironworker from all over the state and all over the country that had stickers distributed to them, what that is very clearly indicating to me is that there was coordination. That coordination most likely came from somewhere in a union. Because
so beyond having the stickers, was there any type of clothing or garb or anything that connected them together that would give you the perception that they were something other than what they were?
Sure, there was a lot of them that were smoking weed together, right in my general direction. See, I was standing in the pocket. You'll see it from my video. Pretty much, there was a lot of people that had ironworker type of gear. There's like special kind of like Carhartt or big jackets that they use, the stickers, and just their general body language towards each other. You see some of them in my video originally that are close up by me, then they're all the way up in the front lines. There's several pieces of video here that I'm going to be sending. The other part too is that they were, a bunch of them were smoking weed together, passing it around that I witnessed.
Okay.
So yeah,
Who do you think they really were?
as you,
What's your
several
best
things.
guess?
Several things come to mind. I will tell you, I have subsequently found that there were many Antifa people there. I do believe that many of those people were Antifa.
Okay.
And I don't know if there's a correlation or relationship between labor unions and Antifa, but certainly there was Antifa there. No question about it. The other thing that I think is really notable about this video, when this happened, at first that banner is a weapon that they're hitting police with, but at a certain point, it also becomes I guess like a covering. Certain people broke through the ranks and went up the stairs. Now, this is what I know from being there, and I was pretty close to being there. I mean, I'm sure it had been going on for a little bit of time, but in the totality of the day, I was there early. I got in early. I left early. I wasn't there probably more than about 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, when I realized, you know what, this is really bad. And there's no footage worth risking my life or my health for. So I left. But I did see, though, that certain people broke through. And here's the thing that I do know, that there was controlled access to the higher points of the Capitol. There was when I was there, the police line was still intact. But when I have reviewed other things about January the 6th, there were groups that they had advanced. They had broken through ranks and they were already getting up into like the building while the majority of the mob was still being held back by the police ranks. I'm fairly confident that provided some people an opportunity to break through the ranks first and to be able to get up and have their moment within. The other thing, this I don't have a video of. You know what? It's not even worth mentioning. I'll just keep it there. So as I was saying, I'm going to send you that video with that banner. And then it's not one. There's like probably 4 or 5 different videos that are going to be part of this because it wasn't just one clip. Like I stopped and started.
No, completely understand.
Yeah, but so you'll no problem. You know, it was a terrible thing that happened that day, and you know, I'm really concerned. What I'm really concerned about is the rhetoric that has been coming out of Washington D.C. after that day. What I'm really worried about is that this is being used to divide Americans, and a lot of violence could be actually in the future. I read, as a journalist, it's my job to, you know, not just show up to things, but also look online and try to understand what the public sentiment is. A lot of people have been, I guess, coerced, or a lot of people's thinking is that some of the most violent people there were Trump supporters. I can't, being there, that doesn't fit with what I observed. That doesn't fit with what I videotaped. This union thing is particularly troubling, as I mentioned, because it shows at least some coordination. I don't know how far that coordination goes, but that there would be union workers from all over the country that converged there that day. None of them to have been friendly to the former president or things like that. And using, again, I'm going to say this is my assertion. It is completely my opinion or my assertion from being there at that moment that those stickers were used to give those people that built that on site free reign to build it on site without being arrested or without being stopped. There was absolutely no way that was carried through the crowd. And even furthermore, there was no way that thing so the way that there was steps, but then there was like a little pit area that you had to kind of like, the way that I did and the way that a lot of other people did, I'm actually going to provide you a video of that. There was a railing that was used almost like as an escalator to people to walk up, and people were helping people up this like railing because you couldn't have just kind of scaled that thing easily by itself. So this is what I know.
People doing that, did they seem familiar with each other?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
As if it was an organized team effort, like literally a team effort.
I do believe that there was an organized team effort from people that were inside already the pit, were telling people, hey, come up, and they were egging people on. It was an organized effort to put that piece of railing up so that people could walk up to that. So yes, that is my opinion, that is my assertion. The other thing that I'm going to say is that thing, and you'll see even from the video that the way that it enters, that piece of whatever you want to call it, scaffolding, it not only could it have not come from, it couldn't have been pushed up that way. It was too big. It would have taken too much power. But it comes in from the side. So that tells me that they were wherever that was built, it was very close, and they had special access to some area that most of the other protesters did not.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you very much, Luis. I really appreciate all this information you provided. Again, shoot that email as soon as you get a chance, and I will try to review as much as I can. And if necessary, I'll contact you again. Okay?
Sure. Can I just know, given this, and it's only so that I can, if need be, take appropriate legal steps. Am I in any kind of danger of being arrested for simply being on the premise?
No.
Oh.
You are being contacted as someone who provided us a tip through our National Threat Operations Center, and that's how I'm contacting you. Beyond that, you're just giving me information that I need in order to further investigate or further take what we have going on to either identify other people or, I mean, you're not the first of the many tips that we receive. We have to go through all of them and do our due diligence and contact those who have valuable information in order for us to further this investigation.
Okay, great. Sure. You know what?
I don't want you thinking you're in trouble or anything like that.
Thank you, because you have just lifted a big burden. I'm gonna have to. I don't know how else to say this, but I've literally been living as if I was on the run ever since that day because I have been so worried. I heard all of the rhetoric coming up, and I was like, you know what? I don't think a lot of these people have gotten enough. I know of people that have been arrested simply, like older people, just for simply being on the process and on the property. So I have been very much concerned. Once we get this, this is absolutely the focus. There is something else that I would like to speak to the FBI about that has to do with El Paso, Texas. May or may not be necessarily like directly related. But there are some things that are happening here in El Paso that are very, very, very troublesome to me.
If you have issues with anything as far as El Paso and you want to contact the FBI, my recommendation would be to contact the local office in El Paso. So our responsibilities are deviated to different regions of the United States, and your best chance of success is to contact the local office. Whatever region you have an issue with. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
I mean, yes, overall the FBI is responsible for all the U.S. and its territories, but local offices manage those areas. Does that make sense?
It does. The concern, I'll tell you, the concern that I have though, it affects El Paso, but it definitely affects the rest of the nation. if I might just
Go
for
ahead.
one, there right now El Paso is there's two things that have converged. There's the migrant crisis. There's also the Afghan refugee crisis. And I'll tell you, there's a group operating in El Paso who behind the scenes has been pushing to end American sovereignty and pushing America into a one world global government. It is my sincere opinion that the botched Afghan withdrawal, it serves a bigger purpose. There are a lot of people that are advocates and just out in clear day are advocates of forced migration, and they are treating El Paso as a forward operating base. I have a video of about maybe 30 or 40 army. These are uniformed military men from a lot of different other countries. They were meeting at a building that belongs to somebody who is one of these globalist, global government types. What is shocking to me, not only were they meeting at this building with no American military oversight, there was no American media, no local media, no media there to cover this. Usually when we have service members from other countries come to El Paso, they stay in the military base. All of these soldiers were being taken over to a hotel that's right across the street from this building that this person who is involved in this global.
Hello?
It really never sat well with me. This was 1 week after Vice President Harris had visited El Paso. And this was about maybe 3 to 4 weeks before you had the disastrous pullout. And then all of a sudden El Paso becomes an area for refugees, a resettlement zone for refugees. There are people that I know that work at Fort Bliss who are very, very much concerned that the base could be overwhelmed given the migrant crisis in and of itself was already pushing Fort Bliss to the edge as far as its capabilities. Now we have this, and it's a very dangerous situation. But I want to keep it on January the 6th, and so I'll send you that information first. Once that is settled and you want to talk more about that, then please feel free. You'll have obviously you have my phone number, you'll have my email address, and in the meantime, I will also look to be reaching out to my local FBI office. One last thing before I let you go. Back in 2019. This was back in 2019, there was a terrorist attack at Walmart that happened here in my hometown. During the time that happened, there was Antifa was planning to do a 10-day border siege on El Paso. It was called the Border Resistance Tour. There were this border resistance tour that was organized by Antifa and Antifa members. They spent about a year before going to around the country, as well as spending time in Central and South America organizing migrants in order to converge upon El Paso for a 10-day siege. I was a FBI informant during that time. I spent many, many days with both a representative of the FBI and a representative of the Department of Homeland Security, taking them around to different places that I knew would be areas of concern. Thank God, I don't know, I know, this is what I can say, is that the literature that came out before indicating that there was going to be a border siege, it was indicating that it was going to be a very large-scale operation and that bloodshed would have happened. Thank God that did not happen. But I just want to say this, like, I'm not just some random guy that's been calling. Like, I have for whatever reason, I seem to find myself in oftentimes the eye of the storm. I don't want to go on a religious diatribe here, but I do believe that in many ways God has allowed me to be in these places, has prepared me, both in my training as a media professional, but also given me a certain measure of spiritual discernment to see things that maybe other people wouldn't pick up on. I think, when you see this video, you might get evidences of this, but I just wanted to tell you all of this because I cannot overstate my concern for what is going on right now in America. I cannot overstate my concern with the type of coordination that seems to be going on with left-wing philanthropists, unions, and what seems to me as like thugs for hire. And there is, the thing is that there is a lot of documents, there is a lot of literature that some of these organizations publish that would directly implicate them in a lot of these things. Again, I want to keep it directly to January the 6th, but I do believe that what happened on January the 6th is symptomatic of a very much larger problem that we have in America right now.
Okay.
I hope I didn't overwhelm you with information or.
No, I just wrote down as much as I could of what you were providing. So.
Wonderful.
Again, thank you very much. Send me that information as soon as possible, and you could be contacted in the future. Okay.
Sure. Thanks. Thank you, Special Agent Estrella.
All right. You have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.